Welcome everybody. Today we are going to talk about 26 January 2021. Very important day for a lot of people from a lot of aspects, especially for us Indians because it was our Republic Day. And not just being a Republic Day, 26 January 2021, it marked a very important day for all of us Indians because we saw the culmination, or you can say, the protest, the farmers' protest, taking a step ahead. So what happened, how it happened, who were the people affected and who were the people who were a part of it is all we are going to discuss. Because it's a very heavy topic and it is going to be a very long topic. It has got a lot of history involved in it. The video might be getting a little bit longer. So we will try our best to keep it as short as possible and get all the information into this video, and we will try to make it in different parts for everybody to be able to understand what happened and how it has the events unfolded. So let's begin with it. So I'll start first with 26 January 1950 to January 2021. Congratulations to all of us in India for the marvelous journey that we have traveled. Let the highs be higher and lows be lessons for us. Perhaps one of the first time in the history since Republic Day parade started to be telecast on television, TRP ratings of the parade must have been lowest across the television. Because another event stole the TRP and the limelight, the farmers' protest. Yes, the issue we will be trying to analyze, the way this happened. So what all went into this event that forced us to make this video and rest all to think, rethink and maybe support and not support the two factions, that is farmers and the state. First, let's go into the chronology of what actually happened on 26 January. The current farmer agitation started almost 60 days ago when various farmer organizations and unions like Krantikari Kisan Union, Kisan Mazdoor Sangharsh Committee, Samyukta Kisan Morcha, all these unions, dissatisfied with the three farm laws, decided to protest and agitate in Delhi. They were stopped at Haryana border initially and then were allowed to reach the Haryana-Delhi border. Singhu border and Tikri border being the epicenter of the entire protest that has taken place. On 26 January at Singhu border and Tikri border, we saw a marvelous protest that won the heart of many people across the globe. For the dignified and honorable manner it was conducted. Zero violence was reported. Nobody had any complaints about the way it was held. No public nuisance was reported. Farmers were determined for their voices to be heard and the government to have talks with them. They braved the cold, rain and all the uncomfortable situations that always you might inquire at such a protesting site. Estimates suggest around 50 protesting farmers lost their life owing to bad weather and other pre-existing ailments. Barring some calls from PM of Canada Justin Trudeau pandering to his constituency of Canadian Sikh voters and a few MPs in the House of Commons in Britain, and we call it, there is no political currency to be minted from internal matters of India, gentlemen, because it was not your issue. We Indians are very well capable of handling these kind of issues and talking to bringing peace to wherever the problems are. Here is the short timeline of events, how they happened. So this is how the entire timeline of the protest looks like. For nearly 2 months now, farmers and the union government have been at loggerheads over 3 farm laws that were passed in the parliament in September. Braving the chilly weather, farmers have been camping at the borders of Delhi, hoping to pressurize the government to repeal the laws. So what led to the agitation that now has the world's attention? Here's a timeline. In June, President Ramnath Kovind promulgated the Farmers' Produce Trade and Commerce Ordinance 2020 and the Farmers' Empowerment and Protection Agreement on Price Assurance and Farm Services Ordinance 2020. It was said these ordinances will revamp the agricultural sector. Now we'll go back to what happened in the parliament. Now once the ordinance has been passed by the government, it has to be brought to the parliament to be cleared by the parliament for it to be ultimately becoming a law. In September, the bills were introduced into the parliament monsoon session where the government led by Bharatiya Janata Party faced massive resistance. Riding on the comfortable majority, the government managed to pass it somehow in the Lok Sabha. But Rajya Sabha is a very different ball game. The numbers do not side with the government of India. So in the entire hurry of getting this legislation passed, what did the government do? the entire commotion that was created in the Rajya Sabha, the opposition MPs and opposition parties, they tore away the legislation, the law that was there. They tore away, and there was a din that was created. In this commotion, members who were protesting were suspended from the Rajya Sabha, and it is, as far as I remember, almost 6 members of the Rajya Sabha were suspended, and this is how the law was passed and ultimately signed by the President of India, and it came into become a law. And this is the start of the farmers' protest, and all the people and all the farmer unions and all the union leaders of these farmers, they went and they read this law, and they felt that this law is something that is not going to help them as claimed by the government. So there are 2 different versions in this. One party claiming that the law is going to be helpful for them, and there is one party, which is of course usually the state, the government, which claims that this law is going to be really helpful to all the farmers. Now this agitation or this entire farm laws has some very unique ingredients. Some of those ingredients I will mention, and you might would have even thought about yourself. Say for example, what happened is the uniqueness of this protest was, this protest has been going on for the past 60 plus days. There has been no violence. Protest has majorly been or seen as a protest from the farmers of Punjab as well as Haryana. Why these farmers in Punjab and Haryana are vociferously protesting against these bills and not other states is something that we will be discussing in the later stages. Second unique feature of this entire protest was there were a lot of calls who tried to discredit this farming protest or the farmers protest, because they say that the farmers were very well dressed, they were wearing Gucci shoes. There were a lot of voices from the government itself that started to call it the Khalistani movement. Now Khalistani movement and this farmers movement, I would actually call it a big lol. Every time there is a protest or an agitation happening from the people, you try to discredit it by calling it some kind of a terror organization or some kind of a funds coming from overseas. Now the question is, with FEMA, with so many other laws, with the CBI, with all these investigating organizations there, you think that there will be so much of money coming from outside and the government will not even know about it. It doesn't happen like this. Dissatisfied with the farm law, there is one of a very important constituency of the current government, Akali Dal. They felt it that this is something that they cannot accept, the way the farmers are being treated, and they withdrew the support from the government of India or BJP's government. Not just Akali Dal, there is another faction called Indian National Lok Dal, which is a part of the government in Haryana. They also have very recently, I think 2 or 3 days ago, have stated that they don't want to be a part of the government because it is basically against their basic principle of being with the farmers. Remember that farmers in Haryana and Punjab are a group of farmers who carry a lot of votes, or they can influence the votes. They are very important for all the political parties, not just Akalis or BJP or Congress or Indian National Lok Dal. A lot of people or the farmers. Another unique feature that I think we must give credit to the government and the police as well. Government was very humble, but the government did step down. They went to the farmer union leaders and they wanted to have a conversation. There was a series of conversations that happened. Government gave them a lot of concessions on a lot of issues that which again the farmer unions were not ready to accept. Their basic demand was the entire farm laws, that 3 farm laws that have been issued in the parliament, they must be taken back, or they should be repealed, which I think is not an easy task, because for making any kind of an amendment in the constitution or changes in the constitution, you require a 3/4 of numbers in the parliament. Now the present government might have numbers in the Lok Sabha, but it doesn't have as much numbers in the Rajya Sabha. So it will become a kind of a difficult task. It is not impossible for Modi government or the current government. They can do it, but I think it was still a very difficult task. Now coming to the concession that the government had started to give to placate the demands by the farmers, the government actually came up with a solution of asking them that we will hold this legislation for the next 18 months or 1.5 years, and then we will go about what needs to be done. So this is what happened. There was a lot of ping pong being played. They kept on coming with some kind of a solution, and the unions, they were not happy about it, and they wanted the entire laws to be taken back and not to be implemented even after 1.5 years. Now, not just the laws. There is another word that you must be hearing for a constantly long time since the protest started. It is the MSP, minimum support price given by the government for various crops to the farmers. Sorry. So this is the main agenda where the farmers in Punjab and Haryana. Remember, I'm again and again repeating the names of these two states. Punjab and Haryana were completely dissatisfied with this. Now, why the people or the farmers agitating in the Singhu border and the border at Delhi were demanding for the repeal of MSP? There are reasons, and we will get back to it. And why the government did not wanted it to be repealed are some there have been some reasons and studies that we will come back to you. And the entire issue of MSP being very dear to the farmers in Punjab and Haryana, not Tamil Nadu, not Karnataka, not Assam. We will talk about this also. Now, when this 10 to 11 rounds of negotiations between the government and the protesters failed and there was no result, the farmers at the protest sites at Singhu border and Tikri border, they decided that there is a urgent need for them to take next step. Now, what was the next step? The next step was decided between the farmers or the union farmers that they will do a tractor rally from the border on the ring road of Delhi. Now, this is the map of Delhi. You can see Singhu border, Tikri border, and this is Red Fort, where you can see here what has all happened. Now, because 26th January is a kind of an event which is really prestigious for the government of India. The government of India asks the police commissioner or the people who are representing the Home Ministry to go and have negotiations or talk with them that you want to protest, you will be given the permission to protest, but there is a pre-designated route that you must take, and you should not go out, or your protesters must not sway away from the route that has been decided. Now, this was the complete agreement, and how they ended up at the Red Fort is the kind of details that we will give you. And personally, me as a person, or when we did so much of research and we spoke to a lot of people and a lot of other news channels also, the facts that started to come out was, we can neither blame this side nor blame that side, but who was wrong or what was wrong is something that we must focus. And I think instead of trying to blame a particular person or the government, whether this person was right or this person was wrong, as I think Mr. Mahatma Gandhi has said himself that, instead of focusing on who is right and who is wrong, we must focus on what is right and what is wrong. So that will be the attempts that we will be trying to do here. Now, on the morning of 26th January at around 3 a.m., there was a group of protesters at the Singhu border which were under Deep Singh Sidhu. You would have heard his name. Now, who is this Deep Singh Sidhu? Deep Singh Sidhu is apparently, or with all the information that is coming out, is a person who was one of the main leaders of the people who went to the Red Fort, and you can see what all happened. So this is Mr. These are the pictures of, you can see from Red Fort what happened, the kind of violence happened, and these are the pictures that have created a lot of controversy. The way the police force has been cornered and they are being pushed down the wall at the Red Fort. These are not the kind of scenes for a democratic country like India to display or for the world to see. This is shameful. Yes, this is shameful. I'm not taking the side of the police because they are the victims here, but I'm actually saying that any kind of violence, and we can see from all the footages that we have gone that police was not the first party that initiated the violence. Now, from 3 o'clock, there was a group of people who started to gather at the Singhu border with their tractors. The agreement was they are supposed to go on the ring road, and they will do this entire circle on the ring road, show to the people, and then they go back to their original position. Now, the way the problem has started is, before even this tractor rally was to be starting at about 10, which was the time which was decided that they will start at 10 o'clock, because by the time they start at Ring Road and they reach all the places, they touch all the important places from the Ring Road, the Republic Day Parade, remember there are two events that are happening. The Republic Day Parade that is happening from at Rajpath and supposed to culminate at ITO or Red Fort was also happening, and it's a very important event because of a huge media coverage across the world. It is one of those unique events that takes place in India, and a lot of weapons are brought, which are of course dummy, they are not active to be used, but it is still very crucial and very important. A lot of dignitaries, all the MPs or VIPs, including the Prime Minister and the President, will be there. So it's a very important event for us. Mr. Modi, the Prime Minister of India, would have gone for some kind of a big announcement that usually is associated with Prime Minister Modi on these kind of events. So there was a hope also that there could be some reform related or some kind of a big announcement that could come. So, but government or Mr. Modi had curtailed it. He did not go for this kind of a big announcement. Now, the police and the protesting farmers or the leaders have this, while having this conversation that we will allow you to protest and take the route on the Ring Road, there's a lot of goodwill that was generated between them. So, out of this goodwill, the police had understood that these are very decent people, because they have seen the history of the past 60 plus days, and they are all farmers, which they also, most of these people who are in the police force must be having their parents or grandparents, their background from being from police forces. Their parents also must be, sorry, not police forces, but farmers. So they had this kind of a respect, because in India we do consider the Kisan as well as the soldier to be pure and Annadata or Rakshak, and we use so many terms for them to a sign of respect for them. So the Delhi government, if you go and look at their Delhi police website, you will see that there is a vacancy. There are vacancies of around 6,000 police personnel that the Delhi police is short of. Now, with the National Day Parade or the Republic Day Parade happening in Delhi, and this tractor rally that is happening, because of the goodwill, the police assumed that they will follow the rules, the protesters will follow the rules, and they will take a certain path only, and they will not indulge in any other activity for which they will have to rush their forces and control them. So most of the police force was deployed at the Red Fort or around the route where the VIPs or the entire National Day Parade was supposed to happen. Now this is where the things happened. Now the group that was led by Mr. Deep Singh Sidhu. Deep Singh Sidhu is apparently someone who had campaigned for the BJP MLA from Gurdaspur, Mr. Sunny Deol, and you can see the pictures with Mr. Deep Singh Sidhu and Sunny Deol flanking in the center. The Honorable Prime Minister is here. He guided a set of people even before 10 o'clock when the protest was actually supposed to start, and he took a group of these kind of leaders to march with their tractors. But on the way, what their or his version is, he said that these people actually forgot the route, because they are all coming from Punjab or they are coming from Haryana, and they did not know what the routes are in Delhi, because if you go to Delhi you will see so many flyovers, such big roads, such vast roads. So it is not difficult to understand that you will forget the road. While going towards the Ring Road also, the police, a lot of people questions have been asking that why the police was not able to stop them. Now, as I told that because of so many vacancies and the police force completely dedicated to the Republic Day Parade that was happening, this route, which actually surprised the police force itself, was not heavily armed or was not heavily guarded by the police force. They went to the they reached the Red Fort, and these are the scenes at Red Fort. You can see what happened. Yes, there was a lot of violence that happened. there was a lot of scenes that I don't want my kids to see, or I don't want anybody to see and get inspired. There were scenes at Red Fort which do not add or enhance the prestige of the nation in any manner. You would have seen a lot of pictures which tell you that especially a very interesting angle comes that it was actually tweeted by one of the Pakistani government's Twitter handle, and it showed a person climbing on the flag post, and there is no other flag but two different flags that are there, and they immediately as usual they started celebrating that this has happened and the Indian flag has been removed and it has been occupied some other two flags. But if you look at the actual picture, and these are the real videos that we had actually researched and spoke about, the national flag was there. It was never removed. It was always there. Nobody had touched it. There was actually another pole, idle pole, which was there, and egged on by and the adrenaline rush that came into these young tractor protesters or farming protesters, they take out their two flags and they put it on this empty pole that was there. Now these two flags, another controversy that people have been talking about it, that it is a Khalistani flag. Now I am requesting again, please do not discredit any protester by calling them a terrorist. Khalistani movement is a completely different movement. It has nothing to do with this farm movement. Khalistan or Khalistani ideology, it is an ideology which took a terror turn later in the 80s because of a lot of things that have happened. It started in 1920s, and Akali Dal, Indian National Congress, or Muslim League, Mr. Jinnah, all these people were aware of it. Okay, what are the two flags that were there on the pole that day? You have seen Sikh people wearing that sacred symbol. It is their Khanda. It is the representation of the Khalsa Panth. It is not almost Om, but I would say that it is the representation of the oneness of the God and the bravery of the God with which Guru Gobind Singh Ji protected and fought for us, for our rights and the people who were living in those areas. Now, when this entire violence of putting up these two flags started to happen, a lot of people protested, and the leader of this entire commotion was Deep Singh Sidhu, who is by the way is also a actor singer kind of a personality, who played the role of a Don in one of the movies in 2014, and a Punjabi movie. People were not happy. The farmers who were along with this group, they felt that there is something wrong, and they started questioning him, what is happening. And look at this video that people had shot. What has happened? He was chased away from this place, and he ran away from this place on a bike. He rides on a bike and he runs away from Misa. Now, this is all the things that have happened with Deep Singh Sidhu. He vanished from the scene when all these things happened, fearing that there could be the same crowd that he had come could turn into a mob, because it has become very easy for us to turn a group of people into a mob, a faceless mob that can go to any extent and do anything. So he ran away from this place, and he reappears on his Facebook page, and he posts his video threatening to expose a lot of things that these farm leaders have been talking about internally, and we don't know what could they be talking about, and what is this special expose that Mr. Deep Singh Sidhu wants to talk about. Was this tractor rally to Red Fort planned? Is this something that he's saying? Were these farm leaders or some of these leaders part of BJP? We don't know. So this guy vanishes, and he's uploading his status from somewhere in Delhi, as he mentions in this video also, and people have associated or called him a member of BJP also. Yes, there will be a lot of doubts coming to our minds also, because he is there, and he has campaigned for Mr. Sunny Deol for his elections, and how because of his association, can we call him a part of the BJP? I don't know, but yes, whether the BJP is involved with him or not, we don't know and we don't want to say anything until unless the investigation, if it happens in a partial manner, in a very fair manner, if this happens. The second flag was a flag that is hosted if you go outside the Gurudwaras, you will see these two flags. One is the Nishan Sahib with the Khanda there, and the other flag was the Farmers Union's flag. These were the two flags. People have been really, disappointed, and they are hurt that a lot of disrespect was shown to the national flag. Have you ever seen the Indian national flag being at one place and Army's flag, Navy's flag, or even Air Force flag going, just below it or side by side or on top of it? Putting any flag on top of our national flag is criminal. The Khanda, the Nishan Sahib is very, very respected, but as an Indian, there are a few things that we will never, or we would never want it to be compromised or disrespected. One is the Indian national flag, the Constitution of India, the Parliament. Yes, these are the three most important institutions in India. I would not want ever to bring this word. Yes, it is blasphemy. You should never ever try to disrespect it. By hosting these two flags, where only the Indian national flag should be flying, is disrespect. And I think a lot of farming community or the farmer unions were also not happy about it. A lot of these people have withdrew from the protest. A lot of people come up and I say that, who are these people with the swords? And Sikhs are always a kind of a community that is always associated with being a warrior humanity. Warrior and humanity. These people are warriors. They are called Nihangs. And you would be surprised to see them even in USA, even in UK, which, these kind of countries are really, really paranoid about security. They are allowed there. These swords and all the things that they carry with them is a part of their identity. They usually will be in this blue dress with this beautiful turbans and various different kinds of swords which will be double-edged, and it's very interesting to know and see them. So I think this should be clear that you should not have any objection to the way they are, because this is who they are. Another question that has been often thrown at us is why Punjab farmers are protesting. Punjabi farmers are a group of people who embraced MS Swaminathan, the great scientist who brought in the Green Revolution first. They were convinced by the government that this is going to change your life. They accepted it in 1960s, the Green Revolution, and the Green Revolution brought production of the food grains increased so much that despite we or a lot of states seeing a lot of famines in the country, nobody died out of hunger. Like the Bengal famine, which was completely man-made, Winston Churchill to be credited for it, and the Madras famine that happened, and apparently the count of people who died is much more than the people who died in the World War II. So these Punjabi farmers, or the farmers in Haryana, remember these were the days in 1960s when the talk of reorganization of states on linguistic basis or on various other issues was still going on. So Punjab and Haryana being one state was, in those days it was being talked about being divided, reorganized into two different states as Punjab and Haryana, and the capital being Chandigarh, the Union Territory, shared by both the states. The entire food production that happened in Punjab and Haryana is something that fed the country for so many years till this, the benefits of reforms or benefits of fertilizers and improved seeds reached other states like Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Kerala, Assam, or Gujarat, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, or you can name anything. Now, why so much of production happened in these places is, remember the soil that is in Punjab, Uttar Pradesh and the delta soils, these are world's most fertile lands. Specifically Punjab, the undivided Punjab of pre-independence, it used to have 5 rivers flowing through it: Ravi, Chenab, Jhelum, Beas, Satluj. These are the 5 rivers that used to flow from Punjab. Now that being divided, we are left with only 3 rivers that come across through our part of the Punjab, and the 2 rivers are going to the Punjab that is in Pakistan. The huge success of the rice bag scheme, the term that is being used and to insult the people, of South India. The NTR government, the governments in Tamil Nadu like M.G. Ramachandran, late Jayalalitha, Honorable Karunanidhi, intellect. I mean, there are no words to describe these people. And the amazing leaders from Kerala, they understood the importance of nutrition being produced in Punjab and Haryana, the rice and the wheat. The rice that was, more than what they needed. They sold it to the government and sold it to the government on MSP. MSP is the minimum support price that the government decides for a particular crop. So for every season of cultivation of Kharif crop or the Rabi crop, a predetermined price is always announced by the government before the cultivation starts. It's called the MSP. So government will say, for example, decide a price of 1,000 rupees for a quintal of rice, and they will get that minimum price from them. They will buy it, they will store in the Food Corporation of India, and Food Corporation of India will be supplying it to the various states. And the 1 rupees rice scheme in states like Odisha and all these states started. We should actually, respect them because they had fed us for the last 30-40 years. They have, really helped us. This green revolution was a kind of a revolution where fertilizers were given, weedicides or pesticides, they were all given to the farmers, and the production suddenly increased. But the true, analysis of how it should be done, the ecological impact of the chemicals being used, the ecological impact of the import of these kind of improved seeds from the foreign land is something that was not studied. So in the next 20 to 30 years, we saw a lot of problems that started to happen, and the farmers in Punjab and Haryana who had immensely benefited with this green revolution, they earned a lot of money. The protesters right now in the protest sites right now also, or the ones who had gone back also, they are all representing the peoples or their own fathers and grandfathers who took this risk of listening to the government and implementing it. They earned a lot of money. And that is why they are able to afford what they are wearing. They are able to afford what they are eating. This money is not coming from Canada, this money is not coming from UK, or this money is not actually coming from Elon Musk either. They are rich, they have worked hard, and they have earned their money. And through the mechanism of the MSP, which other state farmers have not benefited. Now here comes another twist. If you look at the grain, the different kinds of crops, there are majorly three kinds of crops, the way they are classified. One is the cereal crop, cash crop, and food grains. These are the three major differentiations in the way the crops are decided. Farmer in Karnataka, a farmer in Kerala, a farmer in Tamil Nadu is not concentrating on paddy cultivation. They are known for cash crops like coffee, rubber, paddy. So the entire concept of MSP did not benefit them much because they were not growing wheat. Wheat is something that cannot be grown here in south of India. Only paddy can be grown. Paddy in a very limited region only is grown because these farmers used to, for a very long time, used to live from hand to mouth, the way you say that they grow enough to be able to feed their family for a year. It is the same case with my family also. My family does grow on a small land of patch. They grow paddy, which we stock for us, for our own consumption for a year. And believe me, we never get the MSP. The Arhatiyas, these are the middlemen or the representatives of the mandis, the APMC. These people come, whatever the MSP is, they will come and they say that, you have this crop, I'll offer you this price only, which is always less than MSP. So that is why if you see at the earning capacities of these farmers, Punjab, Haryana, they are always on the top, and look at all the other states, how much they are earning. So that is the reason the farmers in Punjab, the way you look at it, you just look at them and you feel that, oh, they are rich. They are rich, but it is their hard-earned money. This money is not coming from Elon Musk or even from China. Now, I think all these charts explain very clearly why the farmers in Punjab or Haryana only are protesting. A movement has started to gather momentum in other states also, but it is not as determined as the farmers in Punjab and Haryana. Now, the question of, there is a difference between the way government handled the protesters in Northwest Delhi during the CAA agitation and the way these people were handled. Why government was so soft with them? You can think about it. We will not try to take away your right of thinking and trying to arrive at a conclusion. Another very unique moment that with this moment that came to the front was the entire circus of media was completely cut off. These farmers were very clear about non-neutrality, I would say, or unfairness of the various media organizations who were allowed there. All the people or all the media personalities representing independence. There are channels like Scoop Whoop, Brood, YouTubers, independent YouTubers, they were all allowed. NDTV was allowed. Now we'll come back to what actually I see as a problem. See, the problem happens when a government comes to a majority and the majority is at a touching distance of what you call it as absolute majority, or 3/4 of the members in the parliament are represented by a particular group of a political group. Now I think this has given a kind of a confidence that is pushing the government towards arrogance. This is a law for the people. Was this brought into the public domain for us to discuss? I think that should have been done. This is one of the biggest mistakes that was done. Second thing, Parliament has its purpose, for discussions and debates and to tell the government or the treasury benches that this is something wrong in your law, the way it has been drafted, and we have suggestions. Please include in it to make it more wholesome, to make it more inclusive. The debates, we can see that less of debates are happening and more of shouting and some very objectionable things happen in the parliament, and I hope that these respected honorable members will understand the importance of parliament and understand that they go as our voice. I mean, this is our urge to people like Shashi Tharoor's, Anurag Thakur's, Nirmala Sitharaman, Tejasvi Surya. I mean, he's the youngest member parliament, and the way and the kind of words he sometimes speaks, it makes you sad. It really does. So the government should have discussed it at least with the member parliament, so that the media is able to bring out, these are the objections that have been tabled by the benches from the opposition and the treasury benches, whether they are ready to accept it or not. That didn't happen. Taking the ordinance route for every such kind of a basic structural reform is not right. The very basic idea of being a democracy is something that you're taking away. I don't know how to differentiate this between all the ordinances that used to be brought in when Mrs. Indira Gandhi was the Prime Minister, and now the way the ordinances are being brought. Government, while making or bringing this law, also could have a master stroke, as the Home Minister Mr. Amit Shah is also called, the Chanakya. He should have thought about it, when you are bringing this law, let's give an option to each one of the states to implement according to your own convenience. Remember, one glove doesn't fit all. Northeast, it's a completely different economy. Agrarian economy in south of India, in Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Karnataka is completely different. You should have given this opportunity to each one of the state governments to decide and amend or bring changes according to their people, their diversity of crops. Current status is that government, after whatever happened in Red Fort, is going after all these farm laws. UP government has actually given a very strict directive to the people who are at the protesting at the border, like Mr. Tiket. They have been shown notice that why they should not be charged, and they should pay a fine of 10 lakh rupees, and they should be forcibly removed from the protesting sites. A lot of other people with principles who felt really bad about the entire incident, they have withdrawn from the protest and they have started to go back home. But some of the other farmers are still there. There was a call for a huge protest again during the the budget session. That has been cancelled, and instead of this, they have actually gone for a call to the farmers in all other states to start and talking about it, which we see sporadically happening in a lot of capitals. And yes, this was another opportunity for the Congress leadership to be able to come out and say something very meaningful. Another lost opportunity for the opposition parties. I don't understand why people like Kanhaiya Kumar are almost missing. You are the voice of the youth. You are the voice of the current generation, and I think you should have spoken about it. Kangana Ranaut, please stop taking sides. Please try to understand the issues, what and how and why people are protesting. This is all about this video, and I hope that you don't get offended if I have said anything wrong. If I have said anything wrong, please write it in the comment section and we'll come back and try to understand why you feel that it's wrong. It could be wrong. Please keep calm. Listen to the government, what it is saying. The hypocrisy that we see here. This entire farm bill or the farm laws that the Modi government has brought out, the failure on the government's part was it was not able to communicate to the people what it is and how it is going to help the country and the farmers itself. You must remember that Modi government's agenda is to double the income of the farmers. So this was one of those steps. How it was done, there could be a debate on it. Maybe this could have been done in a much better manner, in a much consultative manner, in a much inclusive manner. But yeah, everybody has a chance to look at what the mistakes they have made. Now, when it comes to the opposition parties, this bill or this entire idea of reforming the farming sector is not something that BJP government has brought in, or they just woke up from a dream and they wanted to do and they brought this law. This law has been in discussions since past 20 years, since 2000 and I think even beyond this. And this is so amazing to look at the old governments, including Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee, late Atal Bihari Vajpayee, and Modi government's first tenure. They have been consulting consulting and talking and interacting with a lot of people. There were so many committees under Mr. M.S. Swaminathan, remember the father of the Green Revolution, an eminent scientist in agricultural sector in India. There have been so many recommendations, one after the other. I will give you all the details about this. This is all the data is from a research foundation. The details will be there in the description link. You can go and you can actually read about all the steps, all the recommendations, and all the states that have actually taken steps also to reform their APMC markets. So the government or the previous governments have been, for a consistently long period have been talking about it and wanted to do something about it. Now, why is it that when the Modi government has finally done this and they brought this bold, I am using this word 3 times, bold reform, why is it that now you are not ready to support the government? Are you only for opposition for the sake of opposition, that you just want to say oppose whatever the government is bringing? Or you should look at the merits of it, right? You should look at the merits of it and convey it to the people. That is your duty. If there is something wrong, convey it to the people. If there is something right, I request to the opposition, please, if there is something right, please convey it to the people. Or that also, we want to know the right things also. Apart from this, I mean, you can have a look at all the data that is there. Now we will go to another very interesting thing that has happened. See, as per the latest information that we are getting right now, during the joint session of the parliament before the opening of the budget session, the Honorable President, Mr. Ramnath Kovind, has mentioned about these laws, and he has clearly said that the government will not implement these laws for the next 1.5 years. So you can call this as a win, or you can call this whatever you may want to call it. Vaccine is very important. Vaccine is going to be very, very, very helpful, and it is the only way we will be safe. So when the government is urging you, people in the first batch or in any batch, please follow the guidelines. Listen only to the government, what it is saying. Don't react to any video that is forwarded to you on WhatsApp. Take time. A lot more information will come, and you will be able to understand or make a decision that what is right and what is wrong. Don't go for who is right and who is wrong. That's all from us. Bye.